From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum. I am Ahmed Ramadan. Our top story for today: Israel has escalated its military campaign, launching attacks across Gaza in occupied Palestine, Yemen, Lebanon, and Syria this week. In Gaza, Israeli airstrikes killed 32 Palestinians in the past 24 hours, including children and a doctor in the besieged north. 14 of the victims were women and children, as residential areas in Jabalia were devastated. Simultaneously, Israel attacked Houthi-controlled regions in Yemen. Airstrikes on power stations, ports, and oil facilities in Sana'a and Al-Hudaydah killed 9 people and injured others. In Lebanon, Israeli forces breached a recent ceasefire with Hezbollah, committing 12 violations in districts such as Tyre and Mirja'yun. That includes airstrikes, artillery shelling, and destruction of homes, injuring 3 people. Lebanese authorities report 248 ceasefire breaches, with more than 30 killed since the truce began on November 27th. Syria also faced continued Israeli airstrikes, intensifying instability after the fall of Bashar al-Assad's government. Israel's war on Gaza-occupied Palestine has killed at least 45,097 Palestinians and wounded 107,244 since October 7th of 2023. Last month, the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Israel also faces a genocide case at the International Court of Justice for its war on Gaza. Israel has attacked the Kamal Adwan hospital in northern Gaza, disabling its only intensive care unit, according to hospital director Hossam Abu Safiya. The attack, which caused a fire, followed heavy bombardment of nearby homes. This ICU was the sole specialized care unit in northern Gaza, a region under daily attack since Israel's October ground offensive. The U.S. Senate has approved a massive $895 billion defense spending package. The legislation cleared the U.S. House on Wednesday. It now heads to President Joe Biden's desk to be signed into law. Some Democrats in both chambers voted in opposition due to a last-minute amendment by Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson. The 2025 defense spendings are 1% above 2024 levels, or $9 billion more. The U.S. faces a looming government shutdown as President-elect Donald Trump and billionaire Elon Musk oppose a bipartisan stopgap bill. Musk declared the bill should not pass on his platform X, formerly Twitter. With the deadline approaching Friday at midnight, House Speaker Mike Johnson said he was in talks with Musk and Ramaswamy. Lawmakers must vote on the bill to prevent a shutdown that would halt funding for federal offices. The current funding for major federal offices is set to expire at midnight Friday. The U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to hear an appeal from TikTok on a law that could ban the social media app in the U.S. The court gave the company and prosecutors until December 27th to file their initial briefs ahead of oral arguments scheduled for January 10th. At issue is whether the law violates the First Amendment's free speech provisions. TikTok is facing a ban approved by Congress in April and signed by President Joe Biden. The law, known as the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversaries Controlled Applications Act, mandates the owners of Chinese ByteDance to sell TikTok to any U.S. entity. A pair of senior lawmakers have asked Google and Apple to remove TikTok from their app stores by January 19th. A U.S. House committee has voted to publicly release a report detailing the findings of its investigation into former Congressman Matt Gaetz. The Ethics Committee secretly held a vote earlier this month. The report is expected to be released after lawmakers wrap up their final votes of the year and leaving Washington for the holiday break. Citing sources, CNN and NBC reported earlier the committee meeting had ended in a deadlock and a closed-door vote on whether to release the report. Gaetz has been under investigation by the Ethics Committee on allegations of sexual misconduct, illegal drug use, and accepting improper gifts. He resigned last month after President-elect Donald Trump nominated him to the Attorney General post. He has denied any wrongdoing. Gaetz has also been under federal scrutiny on allegations that he engaged in underage sex trafficking. That probe was closed in February 2023. Biden's TPS policy shields more than 1 million from deportation. Detail comes after the break. Stay tuned, and we will be right back. Welcome back. More than 1 million foreign nationals, including people from nations reeling under terrorism, have been granted temporary protective status, TPS, under the Biden administration. As of September 30, roughly 1,095,115 foreign nationals from Afghanistan, Haiti, Venezuela, and Lebanon, among others, were granted TPS, according to a new report by the Congressional Research Service. The status, intended for people from countries facing crises such as war or natural disasters, defers deportation and provides work authorization. Some critics argue that the administration's lack of progress on comprehensive immigration reform has led to accusations of inconsistency, which in turn exposes potential political vulnerabilities. Other critics contend that this policy strains resources and takes jobs from Americans. TPS designations, often lasting 6 to 18 months, but frequently extended, were expanded as the Biden administration cited national security threats. Notably, TPS was recently granted to Palestinians and Lebanese nationals amid escalating Middle East violence. President-elect Donald Trump has vowed to end TPS, reversing expansions made during Biden's tenure. Trump previously terminated TPS for certain Central American countries, which later was overturned by court rulings. The Council on American Islamic Relations, CAIR, is calling on the Knox County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee to stop photographing Muslim women without their hijabs during booking procedures. It follows a lawsuit by Layla Solis, a Muslim woman whose uncovered photo was taken and published online after her arrest during a peaceful pro-Palestinian protest on May 15th. CAIR claims the practice violates religious rights and the department's own policy, which prohibits publishing photos without religious coverings. Although the online photo was replaced, the department allegedly retains the uncovered image in its internal database and refuses to change its policy, CAIR said. On December 16, Solis' attorney filed a motion for a preliminary injunction to destroy the uncovered photos. CAIR has urged the department to adopt its guide on Islamic practices and called on the public to demand accountability for the violation of religious freedoms. The U.S. has returned 2 Malaysian nationals to Kuala Lumpur after holding them for 18 years at the Guantanamo Bay detention facility. Malaysian Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail confirmed Malaysia had accepted the detainees and facilitated their return to the country. According to the New Straits Times, Muhammad Fariq Amin, 48, and Muhammad Nazir Lep, 47, were arrested in Thailand in 2003 in connection with the 2002 Bali bombings, in which 202 people were killed. Neither of these suspects faced trial during their detention. The U.S. Department of Defense claimed both men pleaded guilty before a military commission. The Pentagon also confirmed the repatriation of Mohammed Abdul Malik Bejabu from Guantanamo Bay to Kenya. Bejabu spent more than 17 years in detention without being charged. Now, 27 detainees remain at Guantanamo Bay. 15 are eligible for transfer, 3 are eligible for a periodic review board, and 7 are involved in the military commission's process. Only 2 detainees so far have been convicted and sentenced by military commissions. At least 10 civilians were killed and 20 injured in Western Sudan in an artillery shelling allegedly carried out by the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF. Several areas in the Al Fasher region, including the Saudi hospital, were subject to artillery bombardment by paramilitary forces. The RSF had not issued a response. Al Fasher has witnessed fierce clashes between the Sudanese army and the RSF since May 10th. The city is used by the United Nations and international aid agencies as a humanitarian operations center for the Darfur region. In a related development, the International Organization for Migration announced the displacement of 650 families from the Kabakabiya in North Darfur because of recent shelling. The fighting has killed more than 20,000 people and displaced more than 14 million according to the estimates from the UN and authorities. Former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and top officials are accused of running a systematic program of enforced disappearances, according to a preliminary report by a government inquiry. The report alleges thousands of victims, mostly political opponents and dissidents, were abducted and held in secret prisons during Hasina's 15-year rule. The findings emerged after Hasina was ousted this summer amid widespread protest. She fled to India. In the aftermath, families of the missing demanded answers, while survivors detailed harrowing experiences of spending years in underground cells. The commission, led by retired Judge Manul Islam Chaudhry, received more than 1,600 reports of disappearances since August. It estimates the true number of disappearances to be much higher. Scientists have developed a new artificial intelligence software that can determine the timing of a stroke. It can also determine whether the treatment is feasible with twice the accuracy compared to conventional methods. Researchers from Imperial College London in the UK, the Technical University of Munich in Germany, and the University of Edinburgh in Scotland collaborated on the software. They trained the model using brain scans from 800 stroke patients with known stroke timings. The model was tested on data from roughly 2,000 patients, demonstrating it outperformed standard visual assessment methods. The software automatically identifies relevant brain areas in scans and analyzes lesions to estimate when the stroke occurred. Dr. Paul Bentley, one of the study's authors, explained most strokes caused by blood clots are treatable with medical or surgical interventions within 4.5 hours of onset. Having the information at their fingertips helps doctors make critical decisions about which treatments to apply to stroke patients, he said. The findings were published in Nature Digital Medicine. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. And for more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum.